This is Kris Custer at iCannabisRadio.com, and in the studio today we have the Human Revolution. Hi, Human.
Hi.
And you go by Human. That's your name, Human.
I go by Human. Yep. Yeah. The band is the Human Revolution, and I am Human.
Okay.
Human kindness.
Okay. Cool. And so, tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Human One Kindness. I'm a traveling musician, activist, and permaculturist farmer when I'm not traveling, and yeah, that's about it. I play music to try and inspire people. I feel like there's a much deeper thing going on in our world today, in our culture, and like I'm just try to do my best to be an open channel for that and let it come through me and express it and be a voice.
How long have you been playing music?
Well, I've been playing music since I was really young. I mean, when I was young, I liked MTV, and my grandfather had a piano, and like
right.
I always wanted to be I always admired the sax player from Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah.
And so when I got into high school or elementary school, middle school, I started playing saxophone, and then when I went into high school, my family moved to Nashville, and I picked up the guitar. I knew a bunch of people that play guitar, so I started playing guitar, keyboard, taught myself piano, keyboard, and just from there, just started picking up instruments here and there. And you know, once it's like anything, you put your energy towards it, you start to get better at it.
Right.
And then I started singing when I was about 18. When I was a senior in high school, I started singing. I was deathly afraid of singing before that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now I'm 32. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I'm 30. I'll be 32.
Right on. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
I'm glad you're here for your birthday. What brings you to Denver?
I came here for the Cannabis Survival Film Festival, and my good friends, Reverend Patrick, invited me up here, and Reverend Brandon, and I'm making my way back up to the United States to do some fall, spring and summer shows, and it just so happened that, you know, Denver's just a flight away.
Right on.
So,
where'd you come from before you were in Denver today?
I flew in from Costa Rica. I spend usually about 2 or 3 months a year down there. I have a community farm with a bunch of friends and family, and
cool.
And just get to like decompress and write songs. And I'm on the road full time when I'm here in the U.S. So when when I have that time off, it's really good for me to. It's like the opposite, because there I'm actually like working really hard, like pickaxing, and like I have a lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocks, so anytime I want to dig, it requires a lot of removing of rocks, and so it's like a lot of physical work. And then I get back here, and it's a lot more like mental and computer and driving and all the stuff in between playing shows.
Yeah. You had mentioned you're an activist.
Mm-hmm.
You started out in cannabis activism, right?
Yeah.
And hemp activism.
Yeah. When I started using cannabis when I was, in high school, not necessarily medicinally, although I didn't know it at the time.
Right.
Excuse me.
The preventative measures of cannabis, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it was drawing me in for a reason, and, and I just really enjoyed it. I was pretty I would say I was pretty aggro when I was young. I was like, watched a lot of TV, wasn't very healthy, didn't have a lot of,
a lot of teenagers are at our age. When we were that age, we were doing that. We were loafing on the couch.
Didn't like my parents that much.
Yeah, didn't like life. There was a lot of. I think emo started when we were. It was our generation that started emos.
Yeah,
I have to admit that.
Yeah. So cannabis was good for me at the time, and then when I got into the later years in high school, I knew some friends who were writing papers and reports on it and the benefits, and I started hearing little tidbits of knowledge about, did you know it's really good for this, or it's really good for that, and I was just kind of first I was just like, no way, and then, you start to dig deeper and you uncover like this massive mystery. And then I got to the Jack Herer Emperor Wears No Clothes book, and then it was just like, from there it was like, whoa, a whole another side of the world. And then you start to really break down the parallels of why cannabis is illegal. And so then I started getting into activism. After I graduated, I took a year off of high school or college. I took a year off school and worked. And in my time off, I would get online and I would listen to normal podcasts. And there was the show, the Callum Francis show, that I really liked. And it was just, reading. There was a Map Inc. was a website I went to a lot. It had all the daily information on drug reform and cannabis and stuff like that. And so when I got into college, I tried to start the Kent State. I went to Kent State University in Northeast Ohio. And I tried to start the Kent State Normal chapter, but instead I just kind of did it more loosely, and I just promoted the Million Marijuana March in 2000 and 2001. And got involved with the Cleveland marches before that. And so cannabis activism was always something I was interested in. And then I started feeling the reins tightening around me. I had this 14-year-old, no, maybe 12-year-old kid come up to me one day on the street, and he was just really kind of like nervous, and he was just like, "So man, you gonna sell me some dope?" I said, and I just like looked at him and I was like, "What?" Like, first of all, where did this kid come from? Second of all, like, why did he come straight up to me and ask me if and I started thinking about the word dope, and I'm like, who calls it dope? Oh yeah, police call it dope. Yeah. So I started thinking like this kid was like some setup. Yeah. And dealing was never my thing. I'm not a good business person. I'm a good spokesperson. Yeah. And so
kind of the same way with me. I'm not good at business, selling things. It's probably why we don't have too many ads right now. But yeah, like I'm more of talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I got tired of I just got tired of being a target. I was known in the city. I was published in the newspaper on a number of levels for reasons. I was a student leadership committee at Kent State, and so people knew who I was. More importantly, the police knew who I was. And I just in Ohio, I think still to this day you can lose your license for a year for walking down the street with a joint. Wow. Or like a pipe can land you in jail. It's just like it's pretty backwards there. And when I had the opportunity after September 11th to move to California. Yeah. And so I recorded an album, moved to California, and
tell us about that album.
That album?
Yeah.
That's called Rain Shadow.
Okay. That's not this one.
No, that's 5 back.
Okay, 5 back.
I've produced a lot of albums.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just playing the song Rain Shadow. He was asking me about it. Yeah, it's it's mostly, I guess, it was a song called Rain Shadow that I'd written when I took anthropology. I was an anthropology major. And I studied monkeys, primate studies. And I particularly remember one particular class where I had gone off before class. And I usually didn't use medicine before class because I don't know, I just never really did. I liked that class, and so I would just, enjoy it. But this particular day, I had partaken with some friends, and I was sitting in class, and like I really couldn't focus, and it was really odd because I usually could focus on that class. I really enjoyed it, but the teacher was talking, and I was just like doodling and drawing, and then she said Rain Shadow, and I was just like, I like kind of perked up for a second, and like she started explaining what it was, and a rain shadow is basically when you have a large mountain, which you guys do here. There's a few. Yeah, you have a few of them. I've noticed. There's a phenomenon where the clouds move in a particular pattern normally, and so what usually happens is those clouds, when they're really dense and full of moisture, they are too dense to go through a mountain. So what they do is they rain on the one side of the mountain so that they can get light enough to go up and over the mountain and keep going. And so on the one side of the mountain, it is usually rainy. And the other side of the mountain, it's usually dry.
Right. Because
it's always rains on the other side of the mountain.
It dumps all the water
exactly.
out.
And, any large mountain range knows that. You know, you have the dry side and the wet side. And so basically, like, it hit me in that moment, like, a ton of bricks. Like, I mean, immediately, like, I just, like, felt this, like, spirit move through me, and I just started writing because I had been, like, really meditating and focusing. At that time, it was pre-September 11th. And I was really politically involved and politically aware of what was going on.
Right.
I couldn't help but think, like, all of this political, like, I mean, every day I was seeing reports of, like, people dying and bombs, mostly U.S. Funded and supported missiles that were killing people all over the world.
Yes.
And I was just trying to relate to them, and I was just like, wow, what must it be like? Like, why is it so... How is it that these people live in constant fear of this, and, like, Americans have just no idea? Like, we don't have to worry about that ever.
Right.
And so that was kind of what the song was about. I started writing this song about, the rain shadow, and how we're on the rain shadow is the dry side. We're always on the dry side.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens over here.
Right.
And then on the wet side, it's, like, always over there. And then, so I wrote this whole song, and then, like, 3 days later, September 11th hit. And it was, like, suddenly, like, we were on the wet side. And then that song, like, I think it took about a week before I, like, really, really connected with the reality of so that I was tuning into something.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, you felt something.
There's, I mean, even, like, the lyrics in the song where, like, there's planes coming and there's...
Can you sing that for us?
Yeah. You want me to sing it now?
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you could.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's, I guess I'll just... better than...
Yeah, explain it with the song.
There's a mountain up ahead. You can call it World War III. People fighting everywhere. Seems like the only love left is between you and me. There's tanks up in the hills. Like a thunderstorm they roll. Flash of lightning and they're gone. Oh no, someone dropped a bomb. Will let the children count the death toll. Do they know? Can they see all the hatred in these trees that were planted by our seeds? Do you think maybe we might want to turn this fleet around? I can hear in the air sounds of warships coming. I can feel it in my hair, standing up as the rain starts to trickle down on my head. Rain, rain, shadow, rain, shadow, rain, shadow, rain. Oh, it's just a matter of time before the rain is falling on our side. The rain shadow. Side. There's people starving everywhere. Yeah, we're stealing their resources to pollute our clouds and streets. What a terrible weight to bear. So I cried to the government, but they fish to fry, while them pockets get lined in the name of corporate greed. Don't you know, can't you see that that's all just propaganda that you're watching on TV? Do you think maybe we might want to turn this fleet around? I can hear all around sounds of unanswered questions in our streets and in our towns. We can't live in this land of ignorance no longer. Rain, rain, shadow, rain, shadow, rain, shadow, rain. Oh, it's just a matter of time. Now the rain is falling on our side. In the rain shadow.
Wow. Thank you. That was awesome, man. That was amazing.
I wrote the second verse. I actually updated it after September 11th, so it was, you know, some of it was edited afterwards, because like the propaganda and some of that stuff, because it kind of tied in to what was going on.
Right on. Yeah, exactly. You obviously were feeling something that was going on in the earth at that time. Like, yeah,
it's interesting, and I remember talking to other artists of different forms. Like, I had a friend who was a really good poet, and he was writing poetry about planes hitting buildings. And I had another friend who was a painter, and he actually painted like a plane draped in an American flag hitting a large building all right before. So there was something in the air.
Yeah.
And I think that's even a song. Wasn't that a song from the 70s or something?
Yeah. I can't even think of it right now. So after this was on your first album, right?
That was my first album.
And that was released in
2002.
2002.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrote this song in 2001, and the album was released in 2002. Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about your career from there.
Well, let's see. From there, I moved to Northern California. I moved to the Mendocino coast, Northern California. I didn't really know where I was moving. I didn't know anything about Mendocino. I had heard of Humboldt because I was, High Times and whatnot.
It's Humboldt.
And I'd never heard of Mendocino. And when I got there, I was just like, it took me a little while to realize people are a little slow to accept a newcomer there. It's a small community.
Right.
And also there was a lot of underground activities going on at the time.
Right.
And so it took me a while to really realize, but when I first got to town, there was the Mendocino Hemp Company, and I was, seemed natural to me because that's what I was interested in. So I applied for a job there. I just went in and played music outside the store for a couple hours. I talked to the, and she, so I started working there, and the manager introduced me, to a lot of the people, and I ended up just giving away most of my CDs. In fact, I think I only had originally like 300 copies, and I never reprinted them or anything. So I gave away all those, and just to all the people in town. And so I started playing shows and started gaining, small local audience. My friend Sherry Glazer, who's an activist comedian, took me in, and I moved in with her. And she was a producer, so she put me on in front of a bunch of different shows. And so I got to open for people. Jules Graves I got to open for, and a bunch of that, and just built, and I started playing festivals and whatnot. And it's kind of, it's like I'm trying to sum up like 10 years of a performance. But then I took part in a protest called Breast Not Bombs in 2004, and we did an album based on that. A woman wanted to produce a video for that song, a song that I had recorded at the protest called "Naked," and so she paid for us to come into the studio, and we were in there, and I was like, well, shoot, we're already in here, let's record more.
Yeah.
So we started recording, and so that became the Naked album, which was my next album. And then I went to Maui in 2005 and had some really amazing experiences. 2006, I came back and recorded. I think I went back in 2005 and recorded Alive on Maui, and then it was a live album. 2006, I put out another studio album, which I started based on just knowing people. I started getting fans and some people who wanted to invest in me, who believed in me, and so I found an investor who invested in another album we called Breathe, and I think that was the first one. Tree of Life was on that, and then I recorded the Tree of Life video. That's probably our most popular music video, which was we won an award. We won an American Marijuana Music Award for that in 2005, I think. And basically it's just me sitting in front of some big pot plants talking about hemp.
Yeah,
pot, cannabis, hemp. To me, it's really all the same. I mean, it's different strains, and it should be separated. But to me, like, if you're gonna legalize pot or cannabis, like, for medical use, why not legalize it for industrial use? Why not legalize it for all use? It doesn't make sense to have it illegal. Period.
Exactly.
It's a plant, and it's not dangerous, and it's very useful. Therefore, I have a hard time, like, with I know that politically it's politically correct, especially within our industry, to separate medical marijuana and hemp.
Right.
And especially, but I have a hard time doing that because I feel like it's really the same issue. It's like it's insanity of making a plant that's not harmful and non-toxic illegal.
You're part of a new project that just come out, 90420. Tell us about that.
Okay, we'll skip ahead here.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, some guys contacted me. They were doing based on the Tree of Life video they had seen. They really liked the song, and they had wanted me to help them with part of a movie they were putting together called California 90420, and basically it was a documentary about. It is a documentary of sorts. It's kind of like reality film. It's basically like just kind of followed people around and shot them, and so in sense it's also kind of a documentary. There's a lot of information about the different characters, but there's basically four main characters. The first is Dale, who was working on the California Proposition 19, which was the California legalization ballot initiative.
And is this Dale Sky Jones?
I think so.
Okay.
From Oaksterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know her real personal, so.
Okay.
But she was one of the people they followed around, and so there's her story of Prop 19. There's also there's a medical patient, and I can't remember her name, but she was dealing with severe cancer, and she was going in for surgeries, and like.
So going through her patient story.
Yeah, her patient story. It's like those of us who follow know so many of them, and people who don't really should know because what's happening.
If you don't think you don't know anybody who uses medical cannabis, you might be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
And then there's oh man, what's his name? From Weed Trackers. His name is escaping John. John, I think his name is. And he's started Weed Trackers, which is a website that links patients up with doctors and clinics and
dispensaries and
dispensaries,
everything.
And he's also was going to Oaksterdam University at the time, and Johnny, they call him Johnny something, and then Ix, who's like kind of this.
Wait, that's not who they were talking about, Johnny 5, right?
Yeah, Johnny 5, yeah.
From the Flowbots.
I don't know.
I seen the trailer for this movie, and they said I saw Johnny Five, and the only Johnny Five I know is from the Flowbots.
Well,
he's from here, but I don't know if he does all that. I'm not too
I
sure.
think it might be a different.
It might be somebody might be copywriting.
Yeah, well. Well, they're all ripping off Short Circuit. So.
That's true.
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five.
So then there was the next one was Ix, and she's like a young, kind of like this young stoner kid who just, she plays a great role in the film. I think she's like the comic relief in so many of the ways.
The recreational comic.
Yeah, more the recreational user, more like the young, like,
typical stoner
And
type.
I think, that's even a funny situation, because to me, I consider anyone who uses it and not abuses it, anyone who uses it, I feel like are using it for a reason.
Right.
Regardless of what their medical condition or what the doctor says it is, it's like it provides some kind of mental satisfaction, and as long as they're not like abusing it to the point of hurting themselves or hurting others or really, affecting their life in a negative way, it's like it is part of, with the endocannabinoid system that we know about now, it's like our body is designed to accept this medicine. And so why should we not give it to it? So even a recreational user, to me, is just a patient who doesn't know why they're using it in most cases. Yeah. They just don't really recognize that.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I was when I started out using. I started out 18 years old. My uncle, he had me smoke pot because my mom tried to kill herself, basically, and he knew I needed that mental help. Yeah, he knew I needed that lift, actually. Mm-hmm. And come to find out, it helped relieve back pain that I had all my life, because I had back surgery when I was a young child and basically almost paralyzed from it. And so I eventually realized that this was helping me keep me walking and be a productive member of society, because otherwise I'd just be on pills all day and wouldn't be able to do anything.
But at the time you were probably,
I was just a kid having fun smoking pot.
Doing something illegal. And
yeah, I was like, ooh, yeah.
But no, I never, like, for me it was never about, like, and I'm sure for you it was never really about, like, oh, I'm doing something illegal, I want to break the law. It was all about, it was just that, like, I couldn't see myself as a patient because I was too busy looking at myself as a criminal, because that's what my teachers, that's what the law enforcement, that's what the DARE program was telling me, that I was a criminal and I was illegal to
Yeah, but they didn't really tell us why.
Right. Right.
They just told us it was.
It's a gateway drug, man.
Yeah, it's a gateway.
Because we're all heroin addicts right now.
Yep.
Your mother's milk. You found cannabinoids in your mother's breast milk.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a whole nother thing. I think I'm using cannabis because my mom didn't breastfeed me.
Yeah.
Because I was fed GMO soy stuff, because when I was being breastfed, when I was old enough to be breastfed, they were telling my mom she shouldn't be breastfeeding because it was dangerous to a woman's health in the 80s. And it was like, wow. So I don't know, whatever it is, I know that it's good for me, and I know that I use it and when I need it, and that's.
So what is your role in the 90420?
Yeah. So okay. So yeah. So I don't know. I kind of let's see. They wanted me to hook them up with. I living in Mendocino, obviously knew a bunch of farmers.
Yeah.
And so I introduced them to some farmers and, gave them a tour of the farm. They used my video, The Tree of Life, which is the initial aspect. And then in the middle of it, there was also the Proposition 19 campaign. And with that was also a California ballot. There was the Attorney General's race at the time was really heated. And it was this guy, Steve Cooley from Los Angeles, who was just a total narco freak, he was the one in LA shutting down all the clubs, and and he was running against Kamala Harris, and I got hired to do a political video and song and against Steve Cooley. And so I researched him, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can totally do it." Like, I won't do something if it's against my moral. I don't just take money. If I just took money to for whatever, I wouldn't be here now. But no, you gotta take. I'd be wherever I am. You know what I mean? And I'd be in another place, because I've turned down money so many times just because of my morals.
Right.
So I wouldn't just do it, just because these guys offer me money. But I researched this guy, and it felt right in with my felt right in with my belief system.
Right.
And so basically, so I started researching him, and I didn't dig what he was into, and so I wrote the song Friends Don't Let Your Friends Vote for Cooley, and that we did a video, and then so they used that in the video as well. And then we recorded some music, and they just released a soundtrack called Live and the Mendo Sessions or something like that with the movie. So I've been close with the producers, and they put me on the credits as they liked my music. They used a bunch of my music, and so as a character, my role is a little more minimal. It's really about these 4 characters. But it's really good, and it's going to be showing tonight at the Cannabis Revival Film Festival at 8:00.
Right on.
And it has a world premiere because it's not hitting 20 screens until 4/20.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It is going to be a world
here first
premiere.
in Denver, Colorado, at the Cannabis Revival Film Festival at Castleman's tonight. That is Wednesday night. Wednesday the 18th at what time? 26:17.
Doors open at
26:20.
26:20. Walnut.
Doors open at 5. He'll go on about probably 9:30, 10. The movie will play just before he goes on.
Okay.
I've not watched the movie completely, so I don't know the runtime, so I can't give an exact. That's why you were trying to. I'm like,
I've seen.
Movies are fickle like that. You don't know when you
especially when they're in production.
When you end them, and it's like I don't know. So.
Yeah. So.
And do you want to play another song for us, real quick?
Sure.
I don't know. Let me pick one on here. This is bad. Can you play the military song? What is this one about?
Yeah. I can do 2.
No, go ahead.
But
I want to hear this.
Which one?
The military.
You want to hear that one?
What did you say?
I want to hear the Tree of Life, but
yeah, let's hear that one. Close with that.
He can close with that because that's what brought him here, obviously.
Okay,
right.
So we'll start with the military song. Okay.
As long as he's okay with it.
Military song. This new album, Small Town. I'm glad you want me to play some of this.
Because this is off your new album, Small Town.
This is our new album, Small Town, and it's a different kind of direction for the Human Revolution, and for me, it was more of me tapping in as a songwriter, less as an activist. I'm an activist, so it comes out.
Right.
But it's really the album is produced in a different way. It's more kind of country pop music, and it's I really, it's a part of who I am, and so I needed to express it. I have 5-6 other albums that are funky, political,
Yeah.
And so this album was different, and I'm really proud of it, and it's called Small Town. You can check it out at www.thehumanrevolution.org. And military song. I was inspired by one of my current favorite country artists. His name's Brad Paisley.
Yeah,
and he's
song.
Yeah, no, he's got some great songs, and I really dig his stuff. He's a great guitarist, and anyways, I bought his new album called This Is Country Music. I was like, I'm making a country album. I should hear what he thinks country music is. And, it's a great album, and there's also some things about it that really disturbed me. Mostly, what I don't understand is why country music, it seems to, like, gravitate towards this kind of concept of, like, pro-war and pro-military.
Right.
And, I have a number of friends in the military. In fact, the two largest investors for the Small Town album, 2 of the largest investors were current active military personnel in Afghanistan.
Wow.
I funded the album through a Kickstarter campaign, and so I got to have one-on-one with all the investors.
It sounds like Ron Paul campaign, too.
Yeah. Well, it is anyway. I mean, it just goes to show you, it's like I kept in touch with them. I know what's going on out there. I know how they're feeling, and
they don't like it.
They don't like it, and it's silly that the media continues to pump this lie that America is happy and loves war, and we don't.
We don't.
Americans hate war. No one loves war.
No one likes war.
Exactly.
war profiteers like war.
Profiteers like war.
The people who make weapons like war.
Exactly. And those people are all connected to the media, and those people all own media, and therefore they allow certain things to get through and certain things to not get through.
Right.
If the day you hear this song on a I'll wait. The day you hear this song on a pop radio station, I'll retract the statement.
Okay.
But I don't think,
We'll try to get it there, though.
Yeah, we'll try and get it there. So this is my direct response to Brad Paisley. There was a certain song. This one's for the ones who believe in a future free from destruction and violence. For the preachers and the peaceniks who believe what they say about doing things Jesus in Gandhi's way. For the ones who can turn and walk away when other people threaten them with words. For the ones who cannot stomach watching children being bombed, nuclear waste left on the earth. This ain't no military song. That song's been sung a million times. That song doesn't change in the end. Someone's baby always dies. This one's for the future of this place, for the entire human race, so we all may thrive and get along. This ain't no military song. This one's for the ones who've lost a baby, or whose baby's been deformed. For the ones who didn't know what they were doing and ended up in someone else's war. For the billions who have died believing we'll have a peaceful world one day. For the ones who are starving, let's teach all of our soldiers to grow some food and feed them right away. This ain't no military song. That song's been sung a million times. That song doesn't change in the end. Someone's baby always dies. This one's for the future of this place, for the entire human race, so we all may thrive and get along. This ain't no military song. I know that it may seem cliche to some, like peace is an idea that's come and gone away. But I believe that our day is soon, like a flower that's about to bloom, to drop the guns and choose a better way. This ain't no military song. That song's been sung a million times. This song's a little different. It can change in a moment on a dime. Yeah, this ain't no military song. That song's been sung a billion times. Well, that song doesn't change in the end. Someone's baby always dies. This one's for the future of this place, for the entire human race, so we all may thrive and get along. This ain't no military song. So we all may thrive and get along. This ain't no military song.
Wow, that was an amazing song, man. Thank you very much for playing that. That was really touching.
Thank you.
You had touched on earlier when we talked about food activism. We have a show on here called the Thunderdome, and they do food activism. They were the free kitchen for Occupy Denver.
Oh, great.
When Occupy Denver first started and before the Gestapo came through and destroyed free food. And they focus a lot on, feeding people, and also organic gardening, growing your own food, guerrilla gardening, seed bombing. They talk about Monsanto and what evils they're actually doing. And I heard you've got this song called Consumer, and it's a lot about that.
Well, Consumer definitely touches on food activism. A lot of my songs do, in various ways, because I think I look at myself, that's like, to me, one of the biggest issues. And I think even hemp really ties back in with that too, because for me, like, being able to, the fact that we can't eat hemp here in the country, like in the United States we can get the shelled hemp seeds, we get the shelled, but it's not really hemp. It's not a hemp seed because it can't grow, so it actually has a lot of its nutritional properties removed. It's just the germ.
Right.
So that kind of ties in too. And Consumer, I go into like mono and diglyceride, just like reading labels and what we're feeding the children.
Right.
And I have a song called Monsanto Go Away, which we just did a video, an Occupy video called Occupy Monsanto we did on Maui, where Monsanto's headquarters for growing, they grow their seed stock for corn, for all their GMO corn on Maui. And they basically, that's where they do the laboratory, the injecting of the pesticides, and then they grow it, and then they take that seed stock to the U.S. and they breed it with regular corn, and that's how they get their stock that they sell. Okay. So it's actually Maui's most lucrative export right now. And so we did a protest called Occupy Monsanto out there in I want to say in December it was, and we had it was a 7-day occupation outside Monsanto headquarters. And what do you know? The third day we were out there, we got there, and these guys show up and start nailing a sign into the ground right next to us. The new Maui Kihei District Department, Police Department is going to be erected right where we were protesting, and funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Barack Obama, right in front of Monsanto's gates.
How about that?
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
And so we did that. We did the Occupy Monsanto. There's a video you can look up on YouTube. Look up Occupy Monsanto, and we did that. I took part in last year a march from Brooklyn to Washington D.C. called the label. It's called. The campaign is completely escaping me in this moment. It was an initiative to if you go to justlabellit.org or the GMO Right to Know March, it was called, And so we marched from Brooklyn to DC and did shows along the way and educated people about GMOs. What we found out mostly was that most Americans don't have an idea of what GMOs are. They don't really, they aren't aware. All of Europe, it's either banned or labeling is required for across the European Union, and many states and parts of Europe have banned GMOs outright. China, New Zealand, Japan have all banned GMOs.
And was it Vermont just had a bill to ban Monsanto? And then Monsanto is suing Vermont now, I believe, because of that.
Yeah,
they want actually Vermont wants GMOs to be labeled. They want to be labeled as GMOs, and so Monsanto is countersuing the state.
Yeah, that's what they're just gonna keep trying everything they can, and it's a really scary situation right now because people I think people are finally becoming aware of this issue, and it's starting to gain steam. But it's a really important one because we're talking about our entire food supply. We're talking about like GMO food that's in almost every regular product in general groceries. I only eat organic food personally because I'm super sketched out about that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I think it's the only way to really safely know is to know your farmer and know where your food's coming from.
Right.
But like
just
most
like cannabis. Know your grower.
Yeah.
Know who's growing your stuff.
Exactly. But we're talking about like food that a substance that's infecting the entire food supply, and most Americans have no idea what it is, and the people that run the government currently are former employees of this company. There's like 30 former Monsanto employees in high-level positions in the United States government right now. And so it's like it's not even if you look, it's not even they're not even hiding. It's like they're not even hiding the fact of what they're doing. But so that's an important it all kind of ties in. And then Food Not Bombs, my friend Keith McHenry, who started Food Not Bombs, we've toured together, and he's been arrested even recently for giving out food.
Right,
like giving out food is illegal in this country.
Like I said, the Thunderdome. FBI are investigating people for giving
away food.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how far this country has gotten and allowed the people the government and authorities to have a reign over them, over freedoms that are natural freedoms.
Absolutely.
It's unnatural for us to not give away, or it's unnatural for me to not give something to my brothers and sisters. That's
you see people who are hungry, you want to give them food.
It's an unnatural thought not want to do that. And people think it's a natural thing now. And and it's not human society; it's an American society that has become transformed into this selfish, greedy, take.
It's even. I would venture to say it's even beyond American. It's become American society because most people are so like brainwashed and ignorant, and that's not really their fault. Most Americans, it's not really. I don't look at it as the fault of Americans. I'm out to educate Americans because most Americans really just don't know what they don't understand the situation because the media is all being controlled.
Well, and I can't remember who said this, but it only takes a generation to erase history. And that's what's happened is we're in that generation where it's about to be erased, and the way things are supposed to be and were.
Well, definitely it's been happening forever. But I would say it's not just an American thing. I would say that it's a money issue, and it's the people who control the money system. And I think ultimately it all comes down to that. All because our system, our religion, everything is in Zeitgeist. They say there's a movie called Zeitgeist where they say it's deeper than religion. Money is deeper than religion because no one questions it. People question religion, at least.
Yeah.
No one questions the money system. Like, hey, who's making this money? Yeah. What makes this piece of paper worth anything?
Most people don't know who Ben Bernanke is.
Right. Yeah, or care. And I don't really. Except that, I'm more interested in like, okay, so there's people who are making our money.
Right.
And there's people who create the money, and those are the people who are creating policies because they are the ones deciding who gets that money.
Right.
And so there is a hierarchical structure that is being broken down from the bottom in. I mean, it's collapsing very rapidly, but it's all related to that. It's an attempt to create scarcity because they don't want people to feel abundant. And if people were feeling abundant, they would give freely, and they would feel, and people would thrive. And by the way, have you guys seen that movie Thrive?
I've heard about it.
Great movie. ThriveMovement.com.
Yeah, I've been
great movie.
Meaning to watch it.
It's amazing, and I feel like it's a really good movie. So, anyways, we could talk for hours about this issue, but you can see it all online. You can see it on my website, thehumanrevolution.org, Thrive Movement, Zeitgeist Movement, all these different different situations. But
I wanted to thank you for stopping in here. It's been a great pleasure. Your music is awesome.
Thanks,
your music
bro.
is moving. I hope a lot of people listen to your music and take it in and learn from it, and hopefully it'll move them to do something.
Well, I gotta say, I'm pleased to say that, like, kids, my overwhelmingly greatest fans are children.
Yeah.
And I don't sing kids music.
Right.
But the kids understand. And they understand that it's their world. And some of these kids are so bright that they understand that the parents are really messing up their world.
They understand what's real, and they're taught to learn what's fake.
They haven't gone through the system of forgetting
exactly
the intentional brainwashing.
They can hear the realness in your music and in your voice.
And they hear it, and then they ask questions like, Tree of Life is really popular among young children because they ask, like, why are they cutting down trees when they have this amazing plant, mommy? Because it only doesn't make sense if you don't think about it.
Right.
I mean, only the illegality of hemp only makes sense if you don't think about it.
Right.
So I'll sing this song maybe, and we'll call it.
Thank you very much. This is Human from Human Revolution on iCannabisRadio.com.
Natural laws in a natural place. Consumer, looking for the door, trying to leave this rat race. Consumers, it's not as hard as we think to change. Consumer, mass movements of consciousness to higher planes. Wake up every morning, I got a hole in my conscience. I said, how did things ever get this bad? What happened to the ones who've been watching us? And it's hard not to be a part of the problem. Some get all while all get none. But those of us with the strength to resist, we surely are the chosen ones, 'cause we're a part of this big natural web of life. And when we forget, we receive natural pain and strife. So take a walk on the land, get to know the earth real well, 'cause you'll never see the ocean if you stay inside your shell. Consumer, a natural laws in a natural place. Consumers, looking for the door, trying to leave this rat race. Consumers, it's not as hard as we think to change. Consumers, mass movements of consciousness to higher planes. Yeah, we got sprawl marts popping up in every town. They undercut the mom and pop stores till they take them all down. But we shop there cause it's easy, food and clothing in one, while mom and pop are forced to sift through the trash just to feed their sons. We buy lots of little plastic shit we know we'll never use. Support community or the billionaires. It's your choice, you choose. It's just mindless consumerism with one goal in mind. Save a little bit of cash, maybe some TV watching time. And who we gonna blame when our communities run dry and the billionaires laugh and walk away, leave us wondering why we're putting too much power in the hands of too few. So don't tell me I'm doing all I can do, consumer. Unnatural laws in a natural place, consumers. Looking for the door, trying to leave this rat race, consumers. It's not as hard as we think to change, consumers. Mass movements of consciousness to higher planes. Shoes or that shirt on your back, and how many people have died from Big Mac heart attacks, and who owns the company, which 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 owns the company, who made the food you're putting into your body, high fructose, hydrogenated mono and diglyceride, EDTA. We put these things into our bodies every day, but what are they? I never learned about them in my elementary school, cause the corporations own the states, and the states make the rules. I'm going pesticide free, it's organic for me, and my body will thank me for treating it healthfully, cause food's about life energy, not making money, pumping the third world full of GMO food. Ain't that funny? Yeah, what if it was you on the other side of the spectrum? How'd you like to test out that food you've infected, consumer? Natural laws in a natural place, consumers. Looking for the door, trying to leave this rat race, consumers. It's not as hard as we think to change, consumers. Mass movements of consciousness to higher planes.